Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Now, given that I only just got back from Bitcoin Miami this weekend, my mind has somewhat been swimming with thoughts and conversations about the world's biggest and most famous cryptocurrency. However, today we're back on the Coin Bureau Clips channel to take our weekly look at the Metaverse world, and it has certainly been a huge 7 days for the space, despite much of the focus being elsewhere. So, first up, the organisation behind Hedera, the HBAR Foundation, just recently announced the launch of a $155 million crypto economy fund looking to invest in the DeFi sector. However, more recently, the HBAR Foundation announced in a press release that some $250 million worth of HBAR tokens will be put towards an all-new Metaverse fund. According to said press release, HBAR's new fund will focus on gaming and virtual worlds, consumer brands and collectibles, sports and fan engagement, and enterprise metaverse. It seems as though the motivations behind the fund are twofold. Firstly, the moves could be a response to the bullish outlook on the metaverse from top-tier financial institutions such as JP Morgan, which in February issued a report suggesting that the metaverse was a $1 trillion opportunity. And, more recently, Citi, whose end of March report claimed that by 2030, the metaverse's total addressable market would sit somewhere between $8 trillion and $13 trillion. Now, secondly, on the basis that there is a great deal of excitement, attention and investment around the metaverse, HBAR could be looking to draw additional attention and interest towards its own Hedera ecosystem. Now, Hedera is a proof-of-stake, smart contract-compatible network, and to compete with other so-called Ethereum killers, it'll need to attract users and investment. Riding the growth of the metaverse trend, in HBAR's mind, could provide a much-needed catalyst for Hedera's ambitions, as well as boost the metaverse sector with additional capital. Now, many metaverse advocates and major players in the space are looking to stress the importance of the open metaverse. That is, a highly interoperable metaverse wherein users can jump seamlessly from one virtual world to another and, crucially, bring their various assets and properties, such as their NFTs, along with them. This requires a high degree of interoperability, something that at present does not exist to the extent required. However, in recent developments, one UK-based gaming studio, Improbable, seems to have taken this lack of readiness into account and is now looking to fix it. Indeed, Improbable has recently announced the closing of a $150 million funding round, led by the likes of Andreessen Horowitz, SoftBank and many others, which has Improbable valued at a full $1 billion. The aim of the raise is to fund the operations of Improbable's recently established M², a Web3 infrastructure initiative looking to develop and provide the technology required to facilitate an interconnected metaverse future. What's particularly interesting is Bloomberg's comments that investors in M² will eventually receive cryptocurrency tokens as a reward, but that importantly, these tokens will not constitute a majority of the total supply. No doubt these comments were in awareness of the increasing skepticism of Web3 venture capital firms and the crazy influence and degree of ownership they hold in some token ecosystems. Now, this, of course, was brought into the spotlight with the launch and airdrop of ApeCoin, which saw a serious proportion of supply drop to VCs like Andreessen Horowitz. However, regardless of VC ownership concerns, if an interoperable metaverse future is something you're keen to see manifested, then M²'s $150 million raise makes for good news. With all the bullish news and opinions surrounding the metaverse emerging out of the woodwork, more and more investors are looking for ways to gain exposure to an industry that seems set for exponential growth over the next decade. In recent news, 21 Shares, a Switzerland-based cryptocurrency exchange, has launched an all-new exchange-traded product, or ETP, designed to give investors exposure to one metaverse in particular, and that metaverse is, you guessed it, the Sandbox. More specifically, the Sandbox's native SAND token, which has seen an all-time high market cap of $7.5 billion. Currently, SAND holds a market cap of around $3.2 billion with a price tag of circa $3. However, despite both the price of SAND and its market cap sitting well below 50% of all-time highs, investors are still keen for the exposure. At least 21 Shares certainly seems to think so. Coupled with this news comes an even bigger name jumping into the metaverse world, and that name is Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, or HSBC. Now, HSBC announced that it is starting a Metaverse discretionary strategy portfolio, which is to be offered to private banking clients in Asia specifically. HSBC joins the roster of institutions with bullish attitudes to the metaverse, which already includes the likes of JP Morgan, Citi, and a growing number of others. According to a statement from HSBC, the metaverse is expected to become the next iteration of the internet. While JP Morgan opened up a lounge in the Metajuku Mall area of Decentraland, HSBC claims to be the first global bank in the Sandbox after purchasing a plot of Sandbox land with the aim of using the plot to engage with gamers and esports advocates. Now, interestingly, HSBC's Metaverse discretionary strategy portfolio will be geared towards a number of key areas which seem to accurately reflect the areas of a metaverse future in need of further development and expenditure. Such sectors include infrastructure, computing, virtualization, and several others. So it's certainly been a huge 7 days for the metaverse world. However, rather than specific metaverse updates, headlines and media attention have been dominated by institutions' increasing interest in the space. Indeed, with the slow development of metaverse products themselves, a large influx of traditional investor capital could be just the boost that metaverses need to trigger adoption and an increased rate of development. As ever though, we're keen to hear what your thoughts are. Is institutional interest in the metaverse truly a good thing, or will it serve to weaken the decentralized narrative and hand over too much control to the big boys? What does the future look like for metaverse tokens like SAND, especially given the inception of 21Shares' new SAND ETP? Will Hedera become a new home for exciting metaverse projects, or will the likes of Ethereum and more recently Solana continue to dominate? Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Pop your thoughts in the comments section below, and I will see you next week.